Welcome to your practice. We're going to begin today in a comfortable seat in the center of the mat for a breathing practice. So just begin to take some deep breaths in and out through the nose, allowing the in and out to ground you in this moment, bringing your awareness to your space in your room, your body on your mat or on your floor or chair. On your next exhale, press out as much air as you can, squeezing out every last drop of carbon dioxide out from the lungs. And then inhaling, filling all the way up with as much oxygen as you can, allowing the ribs to expand 360 degrees. And take an open mouth exhale. Return to the breath in and out through the nose. And then bringing one finger to the right nostril, you're going to close that right nostril, blocking the airflow, and just inhale through the left side. So inhaling and exhaling through the left nostril. This is the moon channel. And as you do this, imagine the breath coming into that center of the forehead, the third eye point. You can close your eyes or keep them softly gazing down in front of you. Just focus that breath in the center point of the brows as you gently and fully inhale and exhale through the left nostril. Allow yourself to feel a calming and grounding sensation with this breath. Take just another moment of this Chandra Badana, Chandra Badana, moon breath. And take a final round of in and out through the left nostril. Then release your hand. Take a full breath in through both nostrils and out. Blink open your eyes if you had them closed. And we'll continue with the yin of our practice this morning by bringing the soles of the feet together for butterfly pose. Your feet can be as far away or close in as you need. When you find the soles of your feet together, relax the shoulders down the back. Sit up as straight as you can, lifting through the heart on the inhale, and then just begin to curl forward. Maybe you clasp your hands around your toes, letting the upper back kind of curl, and still keeping the low back somewhat straight, kind of hinging at the hips. Allow the heart to melt forward towards your feet. And let the neck and head relax and hang heavy. And keeping that peaceful, grounded nature that the breath practice gave us, focusing in as you breathe, releasing distractions and whatnot on the exhale. Today's practice will be mimicking that full moon energy, the completing of a cycle, the gratitude and joy of fullness, completeness. And at the same time, being okay with letting go and beginning to release as the full moon does the next night. beginning to wane into its next cycle towards the new empty moon. Noticing the shape of your body here in this posture. Breathing into any sensations, letting your breath bring you back to this moment, this shape. If you begin to feel fatigue anywhere in the body, try to embrace it with the breath. If it becomes unbearable or painful, gently release yourself from the posture just as you need. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere, and in each of these postures, try to release the bones and the muscles. Take about 3 more rounds of breath in butterfly pose. On your last breath, take a full inhale and cleansing breath out as you slowly press yourself up. Bring the knees together and extend the left leg long in front of you out on the mat. I'm going to take half shoelace. So just cross that right leg over the left, making sure your right ankle is off the side of your left leg. All right, and this is just going to be a forward fold over our crossed leg. So again, sitting up straight, lifting up out of the pelvis, but grounding down through the sitting bones. Relax the shoulders down the back. Lift through the heart, slight tuck of the chin, and then begin to inch your way forward over the legs. And when you can't go any further without curling your spine, and this is your spot, release the head of the neck, allow the upper back to kind of release down towards the earth. Heart melts towards the right leg. Find your breath and welcome yourself to stay. Again, sending the breath to any areas of tension. Relaxing the jaw. Soften your gaze. Stay with the shape. Stay with your body in this moment. Filling up on the inhales deep into the belly. Slowing down those exhales out through the nose. On your next inhale, lift the gaze. Slowly walk the hands back to sit up. Give yourself a minute before making another movement. And then gently switch legs. Uncrossing the right leg, lengthening it out towards the top of the mat. And cross that left ankle over the right thigh. Your right foot's going to be off the side of your leg, if possible. Ground your sitting bones. Lift up through the spine. Relax the shoulders down, slight tuck of the chin. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Walk the fingertips forward as you lower your heart towards your left leg. And you've gone as far as you can, feeling a little sensation in the back of the right leg. Begin to release your chest a little lower, relaxing the head and the neck. Finding your half shoelace shape, and then releasing your efforts and your awareness back to your inhales and your exhales. This sequence will take us through full 360-degree hip mobility. Again, channeling that full moon cycle, embracing the cyclical nature of the seasons of our lives, of each moment. The breath in, the hold, the breath out, and the pause. Take a final round of breath here. And then inhale with the gaze. Slowly walk the hands back towards your hips as you lift your torso. Pause for a moment with a straight spine. Breathe in. Open mouth, exhale. Extend both legs long. And roll the ankles, point the toes, roll the wrists. And we're going to gently make our way to dangling, which is like our ragdoll pose. So take your time getting up. There's no rush, no rules on how to do it. Just bring your feet, once you arrive, to about hips width distance apart. And finding a halfway lift, lengthen through the spine, and then lower the chest over the thighs. Bend your knees. You can clasp either elbow with your hands if you'd like, or you can let your arms hang heavy with the head. We'll just hang out here, literally hang out here for about a minute. Maybe bringing to mind what feels full in your life, what has completed a cycle. And now that you've made it to that fullness, what can you begin to let go? Maybe it's the control of what's next, the unknown, fears of losing that contentment. Breathe into yourself here. And as you exhale, let it all drain out through the head. Embrace little discomforts in the posture. See if you can find some more weightlessness in the head and the neck. A decompression of the spine. Embrace the work of the legs. And take one more inhale, lifting the gaze. Exhale to halfway lift, bringing your hands to your shins or your thighs, straightening through the spine. Breathe in and exhale, fold. Plant your hands and heel toe your feet apart for Yogi Squat, Malasana. Dropping the hips between the heels, bringing the palms together at heart center. If your heels are lifted, you can roll the back of the mat up to support them or use pillows or blocks. You can also sit on a block here if this pose is not feeling too good for you or not accessible to you today. So take a few rounds of breath to find what works, keeping the hips open, the heart open, making sure the spine is not curled forward just to get into the shape. You want to lengthen through the back, lower the tailbone towards the earth. Pull the shoulders back as you press the elbows into the knees. And find a quiet space in front of you to gaze at. Soften the jaw. Breathe. Inhaling the fullness of the posture, of the moment. Exhaling non-attachment to these things. Trusting the cycle of nature, the spirit within you to provide. Just a few more breaths here. Take a final breath in, and on your exhale, lower the hands down. Bring your knees to the mat. Shift back to child's pose, allowing the body to recoil for a moment. We'll gently make our way to frog pose next. And this can look like half frog or full frog, depending on how you're feeling today. So for half frog, we're going to lower all the way to our bellies and bringing the right arm out at about 90 degrees, and then bringing that right leg the same, 90 degrees from your hip to your knee to your ankle, and lowering the left side of the face down to the mat. This is half frog. You're welcome to stay here. And I'll cue about halfway through the posture to switch sides to the left. If you would like to take full frog, the legs are going to be the same, somewhat of a 90-degree angle, and then lowering down to your forearms, or maybe all the way down to your chest if you have really open hips. Find what your frog wants to look like today. Just doing your best, no more, no less. Honoring your body in the process. Sending breath in and out consciously, intentionally. Allowing things to open. Allowing emotions to flow. Allowing yourself to be fully aware of the sensations, the breath, and this moment. If you took half frog, gently release the right leg down, the right arm to your side, and moving to the left. Bring your left arm out to 90 degrees, like a little cactus arm, and draw the left knee up so your thigh is parallel to the top of the mat, and creating a 90-degree angle from your hip to your knee to your ankle. Continue to deepen the breath, filling all the way up. Exhaling, extending the breath out. A few counts longer than that breath in. Just another half a minute or so here. Embracing our frog pose. I'm thinking about too how the frog is kind of at its full stage of metamorphosis. Began as an egg to a tadpole. So it's fully realized frog body, little webbed feet. Take another full inhale and exhale to release out of full frog. Just take your time, moving slowly and gently, maybe shifting the weight forward, bringing the toes in, shifting the hips back, and walking the hands inward. Bring the legs gently together and slowly make your way to your back for twisted roots. Here we're going to cross the left leg over the right. If you'd like, you can hook the left toes around your right calf even. And then we're going to lower the legs to the right and extend the left arm over the side of the mat and let the gaze look over your left shoulder. Breathing in fully here. Keeping the mind present with the breath. Noticing the sensations flowing with the in and the out. And let's take 3 more rounds of breath here. Make them full and slow. And then inhaling back to center with the gaze, lifting the knees up, uncrossing, and centering your hips back into the middle of the mat. Then we're going to cross our right leg over the left, maybe hooking the left toes around the calf. Then lower the knees to the left this time, extending the right arm long out to the side and letting your gaze gently follow over the right shoulder. Release the body into the mat. Release the awareness of the passing thoughts, acknowledging them like shapes of a cloud. and letting them continue through the sky of your awareness. Coming back to the fullness of the inhales, that slight pause at the top of the breath before releasing into the exhale, the emptying out. And again, that little pause before refilling. It's in these pauses we find complete presence, complete peace. And take 3 final rounds of breath in your twisted roots posture. Then inhale the gaze back towards the ceiling, lifting the knees back to center, bringing the hips back to the middle of the mat. Spending a moment on your back, noticing how those postures manifest throughout the body and the mind and the heart. And then lower your knees to one side and gently roll over until you can press up to tabletop. And tucking your toes, sending the hips back. We're going to gently lift into downward facing dog. But if you need a couple minutes here, maybe a few cat and cows or a child's pose, feel free to take the time and the shapes that you need. When you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Pressing your chest towards the thighs, lengthening the tailbone up. Spreading your fingertips wide, suctioning, cup your hands like little frog hands. Letting the head hang heavy, the heels be heavy. On your next inhale, lift your hands. Step to the top of the mat for forward fold. Roll the spine as you make your way to stand. Finding mountain pose with a soft gaze. Palms forward. Breathing in. Breathing out. On an inhale, gently sweep the arms up overhead. We'll take a few yang movements, moving into our moon salutations. So reaching the fingertips up. Inhale, lengthen through the side bodies, but release the shoulders down your back. And exhale, tilt to one side. Inhale, slowly to center. Exhale, tilt to the other side. Inhale, up to center. And step the right foot to the back of the mat and turn to face the long edge of the mat. Turn the heels in, goddess pose, bending at the knees. Lower the hips. Bring your arms to cactus arms, or really any variation of goddess that you'd like. It'd be feel best for me to open my heart here by clasping my hands behind my low back. But any arm variation will do for you. Imagine you're standing against the wall, so keep the spine straight, press the hips open. One more breath in goddess. Exhale, let it out. Inhale, straighten the legs, extend the arms to 5-pointed star. And rest of the mat, pivoting on the heels for triangle pose. Spin the heart towards the ceiling. One more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Press down to the feet. Inhale, lifting back up. Bring your hands to your hips and tilt your hips and your shoulders to face the top of the mat, squaring your hips to face the top of the mat. Triangle pose. Hinging at the hips, reach the heart forward over that right leg. You can bend the knee if you need. Pull the right hip back and the left hip forward, finding triangle pose. Bring your hands down to either side. Breathe in. Look up halfway. Exhale, step that left foot back, lower the left knee. Finding low lunge. Sweep the arms up. Right hip back, left hip forward. If you'd like, you can dip the hips down and reach the arms up. And then exhale. Planting your hands, lifting up on those back toes, finding Skandasana. Spin the left heel down. Turn the right toes to face the wide edge of the mat. Bring the palms together. Left toes can come up. Breathe. On your exhale, plant the hands. Lift the hips, heel toe the feet together, form Malasana. Lower the hips between the heels. Yogi Squat, palms together. Come to 1/2 of our cycle of our moon salutations. And from here, we just mirror the postures on the other side. So exhale, plant your hands. Wiggle that right foot towards the back of the mat or the top of the mat. Right toes come up. Shift the hips back, maybe bringing the palms to heart center. It's okay if you keep them down on the mat for stability too. Just breathe, finding Skandasana. One more inhale. Exhale, walk your hands towards the left foot, framing the left foot, lowering the right knee. Pull that right hip forward, left hip back, untuck the back toes, low lunge, reach the arms up. Maybe dropping into the hips if that would feel good, lifting the heart, arching the back. Exhale, plant your hands on either side of your foot, tuck the back toes. We're going to make our way slowly to pyramid pose. So you might need to step that right foot in. Flatten both feet. Pull the left hip back. Lift the heart. Maybe your hands come to your hips. Straight through the spine as your heart lowers towards that left knee. Left hip back, right hip forward. Long spine, relaxed head. Just a couple breaths here. Press down into the feet to inhale, lift up. Bring your arms out to a T and then find triangle. So both toes are facing the top of the mat. Left hip pulls back. Reach the left fingertips forward. Lower the left hand to the inside of the left leg. Reach the right arm up. Spin the heart towards the ceiling, but keep the insides of the feet pressing down. Strong in the lower body. Breathe. You've got this. On an inhale, coming up, finding that 5-pointed star. Turn the toes to face either edge of the mat. Maybe walking the feet out a little bit, bending into the knees, heels in, finding your goddess pose, whatever shape, variation looks good for you, feels good for you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, drop the tailbone long through the spine. Keep the knees tracking over the toes. Breathing. Embracing that goddess energy. You don't have to be female to embrace it. We all have both masculine and feminine energy. One more breath here. Inhale to 5-pointed star and step towards the top of the mat. Sweep the arms up overhead, clasping the fingertips at the top. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tilt to one side. Standing half moon stretch. Pulling the shoulder open, keeping the heart open. Inhale to center. Exhale, tilt to the other side. Pull that upper shoulder back. Inhale to center. Reach up. Relax the shoulders. Lengthen through the body. Press the feet down into the mat. And then exhale, release the hands. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees. Plant your hands. Lower down to your knees. And taking any little break you need, a child's pose, a few cat and cows. We're going to shift our hips back onto our heels and slowly make our way to our half saddle pose. So for half saddle, similar to reclined hero, and you might want to, if you don't have a lot of flexibility in your back for back bends, you can prop yourself up here. So bringing a stack of pillows or a bolster behind you. You can also do this against the wall or even in a chair. So we're going to start with the right knee bent and extend the left leg long. Lower your hips to the earth. And then you're just going to gently recline back, either on your stack of pillows or if lowering all the way to the floor is accessible for you. Take your time. Spend several rounds of breath settling into this posture, making sure the head is supported if you're using props. And once you've found your half saddle, release the breath on the exhale and allow yourself to focus in on the breath, releasing down to the earth. Inhaling to that right calf, the right thigh, wherever you may feel this posture. Relax the shoulders and try to find some relative stillness. And that's the most difficult part for me. Allow the physical body to become still so our mental space can become still. And we can find those little pauses for peace and presence. Embracing and finding gratitude for the fullness. Releasing without fear into what's next. Take a few final rounds of breath on this side. And we're going to gently bring ourselves back up, moving ever so slowly and mindfully, maybe onto the forearms, then to the hands. Taking a pause when you sit up before shifting to the left hip, extending the right leg long. And then bending at the left knee, finding our half saddle on the other side. Hips on the mat. Inhaling, lengthening up through the spine. Propping yourself up if you need, or adjusting whatever variation you took. And then lowering your back. Or if you're in your chair, lifting the heart. Wiggle into your posture quietly. Embrace the sensations. Not going past your edge. Using your breath to get you through. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere, trying to compensate for the intensity of the shape. Can you relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, soften the forehead or the fingers? Allow the work to take place from within the shape. We'll take about 3 more rounds of breath here. Unrushed. Each exhale longer than the last. And then as slowly as you can, gently releasing yourself from the posture, taking the smallest movements that you can until you're back upright, spending a moment here for extending the legs long. We'll take a forward fold here. Feel free to prop up your hips or don't. Find a straight spine, lengthened arms. Big breath in. And then exhale, keeping your fingertips next to your hips. Pull the heart forward towards your knees. When you can't go any further without curling your spine, here's your spot. Walk the fingertips forward, keeping the shoulders in their sockets. Full breath in, look up. Exhale, melt the heart forward. Begin to allow the upper back to curl and the head to hang heavy. Breathe. If you'd like, you can reach for your ankles, your toes, your feet. Keep finding length and a little lift on the inhales and melting forward on the exhales. Take one more round of breath in forward fold. Open mouth, exhale. Roll the spine up to sit. Gently move any props out of the way. I'm going to recline back to Shavasana. Finding any postures in between that you would like to take to close out your session. Maybe you want to take supported Shavasana using your props. Maybe you want to widen your legs and your arms, taking up as much space as you can. Maybe you want to bring a blanket over you. However you choose to find rest, the most important thing is to rest. Allow this to be the pause between the physical asana practice, yoga, and the life application, spiritual practice of yoga that we take with us off the mat, out the door, into the world, our interactions with each other, and how we treat ourselves. Feel the body grounded, yet almost floating. This peaceful, present state, Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath, extending the exhales. Wiggling awake the fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. And gently bring the legs together and the arms up overhead for a stretch. Filling all the way up. And exhaling, drawing the knee, curling into yourself on one side. As you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed or softly gazing down. Spending a few meditative moments here. Filling up the lungs. And they reach the top, acknowledging that fullness. Pausing. Without fear, without reserve, exhaling. Releasing. Letting go. Emptying out. Knowing at the bottom of that is another pause. Before we automatically inhale and fill up again. Such is life. Bring the palms together at heart center and tuck the chin, lower the gaze. And close out with 3 Oms. You're welcome to join or just receive. Take a big breath out. Inhale to Om. Wish you peace and presence in the fullness and emptiness of every part